Welcome to the inaugural episode of our new podcast, The View from CDEC. I'm your host, Just Matt. Joining me today, the man that's always going to be hitting it up with us to talk shop about the Buckeyes, my man, the Dire Wolf, Casey. And we're excited to get this thing going. So let's do it, baby. Let's get it going.
Cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain?
And now we're ready to go. All right, now that we're done with the annoying sounds, let's get going. Our Buckeyes come into the season ranked number 2 in both AP and the coaches poll, favored by a lot of people to make it all the way to the championship game against Alabama. I couldn't disagree more. My theme for this, a lot of people like to say, championship or bust. And obviously that's a little cliche, but it goes well with this season, I think. But mine is more, if not now, when? If not now, when with this coaching staff with Ryan Day. He's got his quarterback. He's got a team that's coming in. I mean, I know we're just getting a new defensive system put in, but it could be to our advantage that nobody can have a scouted yet on that side of the ball. There's tons of talent, and I'm a little concerned, frankly, about the offensive line in the future. So that this year's, I think, is going to be about as good as we've had probably since the 2014 national championship season. So, Casey, where are your expectations coming into this year?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm thinking, the first game of the year, it's always a little bit slow for us. Seems like anyway. But Notre Dame has no idea what to plan for on the defensive side from us, so I'm expecting to win that one. And then our schedule's pretty rough, but all of our toughest games are at home, so I'm thinking we could run the table in the regular season, win the Big Ten championship against whoever, probably Wisconsin, maybe Minnesota or Iowa or some oddball.
Yeah, Northwestern every other year Northwestern.
yeah, this is the other year because they were bad last year, but my gut unfortunately says we're gonna fall short against Bama, honestly, in the championship.
Oh no. Have some faith. Bryce Young's a midget. It's fine.
At least right now. But yeah, you're right. There's a little bit of doubt with him because he didn't look good when his best weapons were out in that national title. Yeah,
and no Jamison Williams this year for him to throw to, but they do have, I think, an improved offensive line and definitely improvement in the running game. Their tailback's really good. But we digress. We're here to talk about the Buckeyes today, so let's get it rolling. We're going to start with the offense. Obviously, not a whole lot of turnover on the coaching staff on that side of the ball, because why would you when you're one of the top offenses in the country, averaging over 45 a game last year? We did change offensive line coaches, though. Got rid of the stud and added Justin Fry, and couldn't be happier about that. I was not a huge fan of studs going to the 4-tackle lineup last year. Never seems to work out when you do that stuff. You sacrifice too much in the run game to get the best 4, but does it really matter when the best 4 can't move anybody? No. And I think that was a huge problem, and I'm glad in his recruiting also, we're going to feel it in these coming years. If we lose both, as expected, Dejuan Jones and Paris Johnson, we're going to be picking up some guys that are big projects, or we're going to be hitting that transfer portal hard. Hopefully the transfer portal, but linemen have been few and far between. It hasn't been the same. You can get a lot more on the field, so nobody's really feeling the pinch playing wise over there. But let's start with the man himself, Heisman favorite right now, plus 200 odds in Vegas. CJ Stroud at quarterback, coming back. Last year threw for 4,400, 35 yards, 44 touchdowns, 6 picks, 72% completion. That's pretty dang good, I guess, as the kids would say. Is that what the kids say? Probably not. But it's on fleek. I think I'm off on that one even. What do you have to say? I mean, I think Stroud's the man. I thought last year, I remember talking to you preseason last year saying this is going to be the greatest offense in the history of Ohio State. Because I have faith in. We had everything else. I needed the quarterback play. We didn't get it for the first few games, really, until I didn't think till about the Purdue game, is when he really started to turn it around and seemed to have everything kind of firing on all cylinders. And then once he hit that stride, though, I thought even against Michigan, even though the stats weren't as good as they could have been, I thought he played a hell of a game. It wasn't his fault that he was getting slammed to the ground every 16 seconds by Aiden Hutchinson and Ajabo. And but he played his butt off. He actually had a nice run in there that got called back on a very questionable holding penalty. And obviously the Rose Bowl was record-setting, 573 yards, 6 touchdowns, crazy game. And now he's set to he's going to be a top 5 pick. I think number 1 pick in the draft. Quarterbacks just go there when they're this good. And I think he'll break the curse, to be honest, too, of the Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. There's a lot I like about him, especially the different things that differentiate him from our previous first-round picks the last couple of times is he can move in the pocket. He has pocket presence. I hate Tom Brady, obviously, Michigan guy, but he is the GOAT of moving around in the pocket for somebody that unathletic, and he just avoids sacks. It's like he's got eyes in the back of his head. Stroud has that now. He needs to make better decisions this year, which he's did at the end of last year when he moves around in the pocket, but that's something you can't really teach, I don't think. We saw Justin Fields should have never been sacked once in his entire career at Ohio State with his athleticism and strength and everything, but he would just not feel the pressure, not see it coming. Had a lot of most of his turnovers, and Dwayne Haskins too. Most of his turnovers were when he just didn't feel the pressure and threw a ball that he had, like he should have known he was going to take a hit. But I love Stroud. I think we got the best quarterback in the country. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with you, and I also think Knowles' new defensive scheme, he's seeing all these different things that he's not used to seeing, and it's testing him, only make him better. And he seems like he's a film junkie too. And I mean, he put up those ridiculous stats, and that was with 2 awful games, and he didn't even play the 3rd week of this.
Yeah, against Akron, which would have been an easy 400-yard night for him.
Game. So, I mean, I know we lose 2 first-round wide receivers, but I mean, you could easily say Jackson is just as good, if not better than both of them. And we got 5-star guys just waiting to explode this year. So if he doesn't win the Heisman, I'll be pretty surprised, because I think voters are a little hesitant, whether it's right or not. They're a little hesitant to vote a previous Heisman winner to get it again.
Yeah, I think Young has no chance. We'll talk more about Heisman odds later, but I agree. I think he's got the inside track. And as long as he stays healthy, this team is a national championship threat for sure. That kind of QB play, this offense will be potent. It will be very potent with him back there. Backing him up, we have Kyle McCord and Devon Brown. Looks like McCord probably will be the second string to start out. He's got seniority. He's been here a year longer, has a better handle on the playbook. Brown looks talented. I thought he looked good in the spring game. Obviously, he's got a long ways to go, being a true freshman. A lot of things to learn. McCord also played high school ball with Marvin Harrison Jr., so he's got a little rapport with one of our starting receivers anyway. I think that also helps him out. I'm not overly worried about us being able to, say, win the Big Ten if Stroud were to go down and McCord had to come in and play. I think he can pass the ball. I do think, and we can talk about this with CJ too, when you run the spread offense, it's hard to run the ball between the tackles if the quarterback is not a running threat. We see that time and time again. Now, it's been, obviously Dwayne wasn't a running threat due to lack of athleticism. CJ, we know he's got the athleticism. His freshman year, he ripped off that 51-yard touchdown run against Michigan State, and that was pure speed that he just outran it was their second string defense, but he outran it. And I think he needs to show at least the threat. I don't want him running 6 to 8 times a game, but 2, 3, 4, just on a couple of reads or a couple of keepers, keep the defense so you can't just crash down the defensive end. The option, you're usually tackle's not blocking the defensive end to go down to block the linebacker. You're putting the defensive end in a quandary, but if he knows the quarterback's not keeping it, he can crash down, and that can just stymie your running game so easily. I I think if McCord's in, I don't think anybody's going to respect it.
No.
Respect the quarterback run no matter what, because they let him hurt us. Sure, whatever. He's not that athletic. That would be my biggest worry, but I still think we can easily win the Big Ten when this team is so talented, even if McCord has to come in.
Yeah, and I think the X factor, like you touched on earlier, is that offensive line. If they're pushing guys, then Henderson is a beast, obviously, and if they're giving McCord time, he's a 5-star talent, so I wouldn't be that worried. Obviously, the game at the end of the year might be a little tough without Stroud, but they got revenge on their mind for that one, so I'm not that worried.
Yeah,
but that's a long time away.
That is a big game first.
So McCord, I think, at least from things I read, he's obviously the second string coming into the year.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it. Okay, let's move on to another Heisman candidate. Sharing the backfield with CJ. Start out the running back, Trayvon Henderson. The man was bringing back memories of Saquon Barkley at Penn State as a freshman early on in the season. Huge, strong back with home run ability, incredible moves in the open field, mainly due to the blend of his speed and size. Like one cut, you got to bring it, and if you're bringing it and he makes one cut, you're missing. And so he had a lot of long runs. I thought he kind of got slowed down towards the end of the season. I know he had some injuries that weren't necessarily reported, that he reported himself in the offseason and had to take back a little bit about playing with concussions, possibly.
Yeah.
But I think he's the complete package if healthy. The decisions he was making after he got hurt are what I thought was a little bit questionable. I thought he missed some holes, was too quick to just put his head down and try to get the 3-yard gain, which you want that guys to do that, but not when there's bigger gains out there for them. But I think I'm confident he'll get that figured out. He is, from every report, just the hardest worker ever. And after setting the Ohio State total touchdown record for a freshman with 19, 15 on the ground, 4 through the air, I think big things are coming. And I said we were going to talk about Heisman odds a little later, but still later. But if I had to pick a dark horse, I'd like him a lot because he's got good odds and he is going to put up some huge numbers. And I think this O-line is much better suited to block in the run game than they were last year. And that could be big holes for a guy with his kind of home run speed. Look out, baby.
Yeah, and I think Day's going to make it a point to be a little more balanced this year. I mean, if you look at the final stats, total yardage and attempts and everything, I believe they actually were relatively balanced. But in the big when the game was on the line, Oregon, Michigan, it was like 4-1 pass to run.
Our running averages went down substantially in those games. Like we had the overall numbers, but that's because we beat up on some bad defenses.
Yeah. So the numbers they kind of lie a little bit when you look at the total finals. But yeah, I agree with you. The fact that Day's going to make it a concerted effort to go to the run a little bit more, make the defense, keep them guessing. I could see Henderson getting, 15 touchdowns, maybe even more just on the ground.
He got 15 last year. I think there's no doubt he gets more.
Yeah. Well, plus a handful in the air. I guess he had 15 on the ground, 4 in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only thing is Mayan's going to get a bunch of carries too. That would be the only,
especially the goal line. Yeah.
That would be the only reason I'd hesitate to bet on Henderson for the Heisman, but you're right. I mean, the odds are there. It's like plus 4,000 or something like that. So
my counter to that would be Day. I mean, I like Mayan a lot. I think he's a great number 2. I thought before Evan Pryor went down with his knee injury that we had the best trio in college football. I think they are possibly the best duo. I think I like Mayan Williams a lot, but Day has shown the propensity to go to a bell cow if he thinks he has one. He did that with J.K. He did that with Williams at Boston College. Got him a Doak Walker Award, handing him the ball 350 times in the season. So we know we know Day's willing to do it, and I don't think he should. with this back, but I don't know if he needs to. If he gives Trayvon north of 270 carries, at about 8 yards a pop, that's possible, then we're talking close to 2,000 yards there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any of that's not wild at all for me.
I
in the
didn't
13 games.
I didn't realize this either. He was like 20 yards short, or I don't know how close he was to Dobbins' total rushing yard freshman record. It's like,
yeah,
it was
really
like,
close.
And he probably had, 40 or 50 less carries than Dobbins.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he barely played the first few games.
Yeah.
Against like Minnesota and Oregon. After the Oregon game, he played a little more. And then he had obviously some concussion and injury stuff towards the end of the year where he was limited in his action in some of the games.
Plus,
but yeah, go ahead.
Dobbins played more games too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It'd be interesting if he can catch Dobbins, if he can break 2K, which I think is possible. Maybe not this year because of Mayan. Mayan's probably gone after this year either way. I'd go straight to the league even without a huge resume. If I was Mayan, you only got so many carries in your body. You might as well go get paid for it.
Plus, it's not going to go anywhere after this year. I mean, how can it improve the backup?
Right. You're not going to be able to prove much unless you transfer. And what's the point there, maybe? Unless you're seeing it. I mean, especially if you got a nice draftable grade. Dallin Hayden, freshman, is probably going to be the third string now. And reports sound good in practice. And I think running back is one of the easiest jobs to step right into. The running part is easy. That's the same thing you were doing the whole time, obviously against higher competition. But you have better guys around you too. So there'll be holes, and he knows how to run. Obviously, picking up the playbook, picking up pass blocking, things like that will be a little what'll hold him back. And I don't expect to see much of him except for mop-up duty. Like I said, with Day likes to go to a bell cow anyway. He's definitely not going to go too much past Williams if there's anything on the line. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, Pryor was gonna get a decent amount of carries this year. I thought they were going to try the ball some ways. He was going to be on the field a lot, I think. So he at least has to step up in that void a little bit. And I know there are reports they're putting however you say his name, Trayvon out there that came in as a running back that we put him into a linebacker. So he might be in the backfield sporadically, but
there is a chance that I think that's more of a if we have another injury, they're getting him ready situation.
He said rainy day kind of running back.
He said rain emergency, that classic cliche, whatever that means.
Heard it before, but I knew what he meant.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the wide receiver group now. Obviously, the backfield's going to be super talented, stacked with one or two Heisman hopefuls. There's another one out there, wide receiver, and he put up it. It was crazy when I read the stats. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 95 catches, 1,606 yards, 9 touchdowns last year. Didn't seem like it, to be honest.
No.
They had obviously the Rose Bowl inflated that quite a bit when he set all kinds of records of well over 300 yards, 15 catches. In that game, should have had another touchdown. He fumbled at the inside the 5-yard line. I don't know. It was close.
It was it ended up in the end zone for a touchback.
Right. But dude gets open. He's nasty after the catch. That's all and he catches everything. Like, he's perfect receiver. Like, he could be a little maybe faster in a straight line, but he's pretty fast. And I'm super stoked to see what he and CJ have a great rapport. Their chemistry is off the charts, and I think he could easily, but he could not exceed that total because that's such a crazy number. Those numbers are crazy for Ohio State, especially.
Yeah, they are, and that's who I was gonna say. It sounds nuts to pick a wide receiver as a Heisman, but he has similar odds as Henderson, I think. Like,
he's plus 5,000 and Henderson's plus 4,000.
Yeah, so between those two, I would personally pick Jackson just because, he's a freak, and it's happened. It's actually happened more recently that a wide receiver's won the Heisman than a running back, which is crazy. But that would be my dark horse to win the Heisman. But it's the same thing I was saying to dispute Henderson. He's got 2 or 3 5-star wide receivers that Stroud can throw to at any given moment. So
2 other 5 stars, and then the one that's better than the 2 5 stars.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about him first. Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm all in on this guy this year. Everything I'm reading, the videos I'm seeing, I was watching some videos of him running some deep routes. I think they were more supposed to be focused on him beating guys off the line of scrimmage, but he showed some wheels I did not know he had. And if he's doing that, he is going to be completely unstoppable. He's huge. He's strong. He's benched 225 30 times or something insane for a wide receiver. I think it's 22 times. 30 times is nuts. But at his size, 6'3", 210, he's Michael Thomas, but a year maybe earlier and way more mature than early in his career, Michael Thomas. And obviously we saw the 3 touchdown catches in the Rose Bowl. His dad's a legend. He's learning from the best. I think his dad had an interesting comment about NIL when he said he doesn't want him getting any NIL money. He needs to focus on getting to the league. I've got money.
I didn't see that. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he the guy? There was that ball machine. It shot out, and he ran underneath the ball and caught it before it landed.
Yeah.
He was faster than the whatever.
He's a freak. He's a freak, and he's also skilled. It's not just freakish athletic ability. And with JSN's going to take so much attention.
That's what I say. He's never going to be doubled. So,
right. And he's such a weapon in the red zone. So my bold, I've said my bold prediction for this overall offense is it will be the greatest offense in the history of Ohio State football. I don't even think that's a hot take, though. I think
not really.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's a hot take at all. They were close last year. This year, I think it'll be undoubted. And I think he will break the Terry Glenn single season touchdown record, 17. That's what I'm going for this year. Because I think in the red zone, Jackson's going to get so many double teams that the fades are going to be open all day, every day. And plus, he'll take a few long ones to the house. He can take a slant to the house with his strength and straight line speed that we've been starting to see in these videos. And I'm just really excited to see what he can do.
So you're putting Marvin's touchdown total over JSN?
Yes.
Okay. That was the other reason why I thought maybe not pick JSN for the Heisman, because he's gonna get those touchdowns stolen from him. He'll catch 8, 9, 10 balls a game, but he might only get 8 or 9 touchdowns this year.
Yeah. He had 9 last year with 95 catches, which is good, but not Heisman worthy.
Yeah, the yardage was the eye-popping number, the 1,600.
1,600. Yeah, the catches were huge, but he had close to 20 against Nebraska too, I believe. He had 2 games that put up a huge chunk of those receptions. But no doubt JSN and Marvin are, I think, the best 1-2 punch in the country, no doubt. And then we have 2 5-stars fighting over the third slot. The third spot out there, not the slot, that would be JSN most of the time. But Julian Fleming sounds like the number 1 overall receiver in the 2020 class and the number 1 overall receiver in the 2021 class, Mccord. Sounds like Fleming has finally overcome the injury bug and is has earned that starting spot. What do you think about those two? I'm all for it because I love Ibuka as a returner, and it allows you kind of to keep him in that position if he's not the starting 3 or the third receiver, which may also be part of the reasoning why he's not won the starting job. But what do you think?
I think I'm pumped to see Fleming. I hope he is, and it sounds like you said it. I think he's got a little edge on Ibuka. Maybe it's because of that return game too. He's gonna bust one. He was so close.
He's got to.
Here,
baby, I need it. It's been so long.
Yeah, I knew when that last time was, but now it's not ringing a bell. Was it Michigan State or? It was 10, 12 years ago.
Oh God, it's been a long time.
Yeah. But did you hear about him? I think I sent you that his shoulder popping out at practice.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
scoring 2 touchdowns. I thought it was a joke at first, but apparently it was real. So he's got to be careful. That kind of scared me a little bit, but yeah, I think, man, that guy. Can you imagine the number 1 overall receiver in a recruiting class being the 3rd best receiver on the team? He's not going to be doubled just like Marvin. It could be. It's going to be a field.
Either way, the number 1's going to be a 4th best receiver on this team.
Yeah. And
embarrassment of riches.
I want to
thank you, Brian Hartline.
They'll get all 4 on the field at once at some point, I would think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's going to be the goal. They have some depth even behind there. The Ballard kid out of Massillon. They got more freshmen coming in there. The Caleb Brown sounds like he's going to be balling. He might do some return game things too. Already has that black stripe removed, but Brian Hartline, open up the checkbook, back up the Brinks truck, do whatever it takes to keep him here. I know he just got a new bump in promotion as a passing game coordinator and some pay. Is he the next guy here? Do you think? Yeah. I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, if Ryan Day leaves for the NFL tomorrow, obviously it's probably gonna be Luke Fickell then. But
you're saying if eventually,
yeah, eventually,
it depends. It sounds like he gets offer after offer and turns them down. So if he stays loyal and stays here for another 4 or 5 years, and like if he's still here in say 2030 and then Day decides to leave, I could see it then. But like you said, if it's in the next couple of years or so, no. Just depends if he's willing to stick around. But I guess because if anywhere he goes from here, he's going to be a head coach, right? I mean, that's
right.
So, and unless he takes a head coaching job like next season and then Day retires in like 5 or 6 years, or not retires, but leaves, and then the job's open and he gets the offer, maybe I could see it then. But it really depends on timing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he could be. I mean, there are 2 guys that are pretty famous that went straight from wide receiver coach to head coach, Urban Meyer and Dabo Swinney. so it can be done. And from what I've read, he's pretty happy being just a wide receiver coach. But you never know. People get ambitious eventually, or get restless.
I didn't read it, but I just kind of grazed over it. It was like top 40 under 40, and he was like the number 2 coach under 40.
I know at all college sports. Yeah,
all college sports.
Yeah.
That's
oh, he's a stud, and he's putting guys in the league like at a rate you can't believe. He just had 3. I mean, Jameson Williams is his guy. He's the biggest reason that he's in there, and 3 guys going top 12. That's pretty good. JSN probably going top 12 next year. Marvin Harrison probably going top 12 the year after that, as long as he's running anywhere close to what it looks like.
Depending on what Fleming does, I mean, who knows? We haven't seen anything from him, but he's potential. We'll see. I'm assuming eventually.
I've seen enough from Fleming that I would be doubtful that he doesn't seem like quite the natural pass catcher that these other guys do. Looks like he fights it a little bit more.
Well, not top 10 guy or top 15 guy.
Yeah, he'll get drafted.
Yeah,
no doubt. He's got the physical tools.
Maybe.
Yeah. Ibuka could be with that speed, but we'll have to see more of his actual route running game. Haven't seen much of it yet, but I mean, he had a great at Rose Bowl too.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to probably the weakest part of the offense, but also the least necessary to be awesome part of the offense, the tight end position. Caged over, back and forth, snip, snap, snip, snap. Come on, Jan. You know what 3 vasectomies takes on a man's body. It's caged over, back at tight end after going to linebacker for the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
After starting at the end originally and going to tight end. Yeah, he's been all over the place. He's a captain. Everything sounds good. He's going to be asked to block most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think he can accomplish that. Apparently, once he gets the ball, he's also a beast. But who knows if you're ever going to get the ball playing tight end at Ohio State?
catch touchdowns here, but it's never going to happen. I mean, he might get a couple, but like you said,
last year, my boldest prediction was probably I thought that Ruckert would lead the team in touchdown catches.
Yeah,
no, I will never bank on the tight end catching the ball at Ohio State. That matters.
Yeah, especially with our receiving room.
Right. I mean, that's the reason. That's the reason. Why throw it 5 yards for a 10-yard game when you could throw it 20 yards for a 60-yard game?
Flip side, Notre Dame, their best player on their team is their tight end. So
yeah. Oh, he's a beast. He's we talked to these defensive guys. They got their work cut out for him week 1.
He'll be up there for one of the best offensive weapons we're going to see.
I would say him and Wisconsin's tailback, Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly the tailbacks at Michigan. They're no joke this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately. But he's right. I mean, he's going to be drafted higher than all of them for sure because they're running backs, and he's a tight end, which has suddenly become a very in vogue thing in the NFL. He's going top 20, looks like, in all the preseason mocks, assuming he doesn't get injured. Backing up Cade, we got Mitch Rossi, and he's more of an H back, I guess. Rossi is former walk-on, and then G. Scott Jr. switching over from wide receiver because that room's so stacked to be a little receiving type option there at tight end. Even though we don't really do that. But so I get the move, though. I get him trying to I believe he also, from what I've read, requested that I'm thinking about the new recruit this year, Thurman, requested that Heartline still teach him how to run routes while he's still playing tight end. Yeah. Which makes sense to me. Get that money. But like I said, tight ends, basically extension of the offensive line here. A lot of man blocking, a lot of cross formation blocking out of them in the running game, and we go with some max protection quite often because we got 3 guys that can get open at wide receiver, so we don't need to send guys out there for that extra one. And I'm confident Cade will be solid in that role. I don't expect it to be costing us any games, the tight end position.
Yeah.
All right, now to the new revamped, hopefully much better offensive line. Last year, we started our best 5, we said, and went with 4 offensive tackles, including putting a guy that's now projected to be a top 20 pick at left tackle at right guard for a guy that got picked in the 3rd round. Not that I thought it was necessarily the wrong move, totally, but it wasn't a move that worked out for us. With our new coach, we got Paris Johnson, Matthew Jones in at left guard, who I thought should have started at left guard last year, and I thought we should have started our 2 tackles at tackle, Thayer Munford and Nicholas Petit-Frere. So Matthew Jones left guard, Luke Whippler back at center, was great last year for stepping in for his first year as a sophomore. Expect he's on Chad McShay's draft list in the top 10 guards, which I'm not sure why that is the case. Why they don't think he can play center, but whatever.
I don't know. His size goes better with a guard in the NFL. I'm not sure.
I feel like it's pretty interchangeable, but whatever. Donovan Jackson at right guard, number 1 overall guard recruit. Coming into last year, so he's a true sophomore. Got on the field quite a bit though as a true freshman. They just worked him in, played some tight end and jumbo packages. Obviously, they liked him a lot because they just forced him onto the field in any way they could. And I have no worries about him being the least experienced starter here. And then at right tackle, the giant, the mountain, Dejuan Jones.
Yeah, the
big baller who's telling all the basketball players at Ohio State that he can work their ass over on the court. What do you think about that?
No. I mean,
I will say the only thing that makes me think that it's possible is Dejuan Jones because he is big enough to bang with said key, and he was a really good basketball player in high school.
I guess. I mean,
it's different. It's different.
We joke in the tournament, so that's what I don't know. It's like we don't seem like we're that great of a team, but we freaking beat like Duke and North Carolina.
Yeah.
Come on, they're not basketball. They're not a division.
Yeah. We beat Duke with that have a 7'2" guy and a 6'10" #1 overall pick on their team. I think they can handle the basketball team or the football team.
Yeah. No, I do not want to see that game ever in a million years. There'd be no.
There are no winners, only losers when they're scraping CJ Stroud's ACL off the court.
Yeah.
So overall, though, I like the way this is built. I like that we have actual road grading blockers and guys who are mobile and can get low at guard. Natural guards. They exist. I read this, I believe on 11 Warriors, like guards exist for a reason, or else everybody would just be starting 4 tackles.
Yeah. It's nice that everybody is back to playing the position they're meant to play. And I remember coming into the year, I think it was it the Oregon game when we found out Miller wasn't going to play, and I'm thinking, oh, gosh darn it, we're playing some backup center, we're going to get smoked. I mean, we lost, but Whippler,
it wasn't his fault though. Yeah.
Wasn't his fault, and he's the man. I'm not worried about him at all this year.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the starting lineup at all. I think everybody's built to play. They're all highly recruited. Everybody except for Dejuan Jones was a top 100 recruit. Obviously, Paris Johnson and Jackson were both #1 at their positions. So they're talented. A new coach. I think a new coach the first year I guess Ohio State's case it hasn't in the past, so maybe I shouldn't say this, but I feel like it usually works out to get a new voice in there can really jumpstart a unit, and I'm thinking that Coach Fry will be able to do that. Dejuan Jones allegedly in great shape, but I think it's one of those things we hear every year. He was great most of the year until Michigan pushed him around he didn't look like a 6'8", 350-pound man out there. Aiden Hutchinson was beating his ass all day, and
well, they don't have him anymore. So
yeah, yes,
he's not as good as the Moses or Chase Young, but he was. I mean, he's a top talent, Hutchinson. So
yeah. I've been watching the Hard Knocks and him going against Penny Sewell. It's pretty interesting to watch. That's a stud. But I think Dejuan, if he has a great year, he can get himself into the top 2 rounds of the draft. Maybe probably more of a second day pick. He's ranked 12th on McShay's tackle list right now, which is easily a second day pick, probably 3rd rounder. But I think he could definitely move himself forward. He's got to show more mobility, especially in the run game. Getting to the second level, he was awful at that last year. So something when we're speaking of run game blocking, I didn't touch on during the wide receivers, but compared to last year, we are huge at wide receiver. Like, we have gotten a lot bigger and stronger, and that's also why I was thinking about Henderson as a dark horse candidate for the Heisman. Is he's going to get a lot better blocking than he got out of Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, just due to their lack of size. They're both willing blockers, but they're not big, strong guys. Like, Julian Fleming is a hoss. Ibuka is a stud. Marvin Harrison is a big boy that's bench pressing 380 pounds or whatever. Like, they can go out there and block these guys at the second level and spring them. And with this new O-line here, that's a better run blocking O-line. I mean, I just think everything just stacks up for him.
Oh yeah. I agree with you. And he had 4 receiving touchdowns. So
yeah,
I mean, it's hard to you keep saying this guy's going to get 10, this guy's going to get 15.
We're averaging 70 points a game, Casey. Duh. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And Stroud had 44 last year?
Yeah.
With missing a game and 2 bad games. So he could realistically get, it's hard to say realistically 50, but that's definitely in the ballpark.
What Burrow threw? Burrow threw like 60 that year.
He threw
right?
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was including through the national championship.
Yeah. Oh, I expect to be there. That's right.
Up to the Heisman, because he probably had 4 or 5 in that title game, I'm guessing. Burrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he had 4.
And it's before the whole playoffs, isn't it?
The Heisman, yeah.
So he probably only had 52, 53, something like that.
Yeah. I think 51, because I think he had 5 against Oklahoma, too. They destroyed Oklahoma.
So I guess when I'm saying these numbers, I don't know why, but I'm thinking of Heisman candidacy numbers. 50 is, if he's at 50 when the Heisman voters are voting, he's got it.
Yeah, he does. The only worry I have about the O-line is depth, and I've already touched on our tackle position being under-recruited. A lot of project 3-star Ohio guys, which, go Ohio, we love it. But and not trying to win national championship. We've seen that with the Jim Tressel offensive lines in the past. And Josh Fryer is he's the sixth man. He's kind of anywhere but center. I think he'll be the next man up, and they'll move Matthew Jones to center if Luke Whippler gets hurt. But other than that, there are not a lot of guys they're super high on. I think there may be a couple other guards I don't worry too much about the interior linemen, at least being passable, adequate. But the tackle position, if either one of those goes down, I'm hoping Fryer's ready because we're thin behind it. And the goal is to win the national championship. You can't have any weaknesses, especially when you play against Will Anderson in the possibly national championship game. He can. My only worry about the Notre Dame game, honestly, is they got a first-round talent at defensive end that could, if he gets 4 or 5 sacks, they could keep him in the game. And then, who knows what happens, because that blows up possessions. And
if one forces a fumble, anything can happen.
Right. Things start happening, and then you get momentum going, and it's a game of momentum. But overall, this offense, I don't see a weakness. I see tons of strength. I see first-round picks all over the skill positions and even on the offensive line. Ryan Day is a great play caller. I think he gets a little too aggressive at times, but I'd rather have that, I think, than being too conservative. Trust the ball era is over, unless you have like an all-time great defense like Georgia did last year. But I don't think we have that, but I do think we have a better defense. I think this offense sets about every record there is to set, except for maybe total rushing yards, just because of the style they're going to play. But they are loaded.
Yeah, just a quick touch on your concern for the O-line depth. You're right, and we keep missing out. We've missed out on some big recruits already for 23, but I think it's similar to us missing out on some defensive recruits because we've had that turnover in the coach. So this year is even more important, not only just to win a title, but for the future, because if we put evidence on film that this new system works, this new coach knows what's going on, I think tackles and offensive linemen in general moving forward will be more likely to come here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, and this is the same thing. We're going to move the defense now. And I think the same problem we've had on the recruiting trail defense this year is we got to show people some things. And obviously, bringing in Jim Knowles now, he's not known as a great recruiter either. So I think that's affecting them a little bit on the trail right now. But we got new staff, Knowles at linebacker, Tim Walton coming back to Ohio State at cornerback, Perry Eliano at the safety coaches, and then, of course, Larry Johnson returning as the D-line savant. Even though his D-lines have a little underperformed a bit the last couple of years, nobody should be too worried about that, I don't think. But it's something you start to think of. If we don't have a pass rush this year, maybe you start looking like maybe he's getting old too. I don't think he is, but it's something you got to think about. On the defense here, the D-line should be the strength of the team. But I think I go through this roster, and I'm like, man, well, we have a lot of guys that have played. Everybody's experienced that's going to play. Everybody. And we have a ton of dudes at every position that I'm like, he can play and be really good. He can play and be really good. The D-line, though, you got 3 5-star DNs on the roster. They're going to be in the top 4. I don't believe in Harrison as an actual 5-star talent at this level, but he's very solid overall. And JTT and Jack Sawyer, one of them is going to bust out. Everybody's saying JTT looks like the next Bosa and next Chase Young in practice, and I'm expecting huge things from him this year. Especially, this is a very aggressive defense that Jim Knowles likes to play. It's go see ball, hit ball. I think Sawyer's going to play more of like a stand-up DN type position, and Harrison and Baptiste will be playing opposite JTT a lot in regular their 4-2-5 lineup. Freshman Caden Curry, everything sounds great with him, and he'll be in a similar playing, I think, about the same role that Sawyer's going to play in a backup role, but I'm really high on him, hearing a lot of good things. The DNs should be ferocious. Like I said, 5-star talent across the board, high 4-star depth behind that. One of the best D-line coaches in the history of the game, coaching them up. They have an extra year. They have tons of motivation. They're going to be all over it. They got D tackles. Now, D tackle was a position I think that hurt a lot last year. And obviously in the Michigan game, they got pushed around up the middle. But they have a 5-star D tackle in Trayvon Vincent. The big man Cage is back. Tyleek Williams, who looked like the best defensive tackle we had on the team last year, but he was not in shape, so he couldn't stay out there. Allegedly in very good shape and looking beastly and stuff we see on the postings. Ty Hamilton, brother Devon Hamilton, also should be solid. And then the fifth one and the third stringer that Coach Wilson was joking about how Mike Hall's the third stringer, and I thought he impressed me as a true freshman last year when he came in. Yeah, I'm super stoked on this D line. I think Jim Knowles is the reason he's talking about us being a top 5 defense after being a terrible defense last year is because he knows these boys can dominate up front. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm thinking Sawyer might have the better year between him and is it Tuimulau? I think that's how you say it.
Tuimulau.
Yeah. So, and I think he's going to play the jack position, like a hybrid of D end and linebacker.
Right. So I said like a stand-up DN type.
Yeah, and like you said, I'm really pumped for Leake. We have all these crazy talented freshmen last year, and he kind of stood out. And
he did.
He
led the team in sacks, which is pathetic. But
yeah, crazy. And like you said, he played limited snaps, and like it. I'm pumped about him for sure. And like you said, Harrison, it's like he's never lived up to the hype, but I mean, maybe this is his last go. I mean, this is it. This is the last chance to show the pro scouts what he's made of, and he's not getting double teamed, that's for sure. So
no. Good luck. I mean, you're going to have to max protect, I think, to keep guys out of the backfield, and that's not including the kind of talent and speed we have at safety that are becoming on blitzes, and I'm really excited about this defense all of a sudden. I see why Jim Knowles is.
I know, and I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. Everything I read, literally, like, they're gushing over him. But, I mean, like you said, every position group. I mean, across the board, you got Burke, you got the whole D line, the linebackers, you got Hickman. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm probably getting some All-American there, but
no, I mean, I think we have potential especially on D-line. I think JTT can be All-American and possibly Tyleek, but we'll see. And I mean, but they have a lot to prove, especially the tackles. Like Trayvon Vincent has not been played like a 5-star at all. John Cage was a 3-star that's at times played like above that, but at times against Michigan, he got pushed around big time. They have a lot to prove.
Yeah. No,
at the linebackers. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say they were. I mean, statistically, like I said, numbers kind of lie sometimes, and they were. My eyeballs tell me they were really bad, and then if you look at the numbers, it was like scoring defense. They were like 40th, but that wasn't the 40th defense in the country. They were more like 80th.
But they were like 9th in the Big Ten. Yeah, a lot of that had to do with Big Ten offenses have stunk for the most part, outside of a few, and that helped out.
And plus,
they did a great game against Michigan State, though.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing about that whole season. They got my hopes up. They destroyed the top 10 team, scored a touchdown every freaking drive, only allowed one touchdown. Then we got freaking scum next week, and I'm thinking, oh, we're going to terrorize them. And then.
Yeah. No. No. All right. How about the linebackers, who were probably the worst group on the team and have been for a while, to be honest. It's been a long time since Shazier was roaming out there that we've had an All-American caliber linebacker. I'm not sure we have any this year, but I am excited about the linebacker group. Tommy Eichenberg and Steele Chambers are going to be the starters from everything that's been said.
Yep.
And Chambers, I like a lot. Finally brings some athleticism. He actually runs guys down. He doesn't need the play funneled to him to make a play, which is what we've had in the middle for the last year. He was out of position a lot of times. He had a terrible game against Michigan, terrible. And not a great game against Utah either. Eichenberg was the Rose Bowl defensive MVP. Showed a lot of improvement towards the end of the year, but I still worry about him getting Tuck Borland out there and just getting out-athleted at times. But everybody's super high on him. He's a captain as well.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to be not worried about him.
That's the one
group
that just, history just tells me that I cannot believe it until I see it with these linebackers. Yeah. We have a history of having a great defensive line, and we have all that talent. So I'm expecting them to turn out. But these linebackers that everybody in camp says they're looking great, but what I've seen the last few years, I'll believe it when I see it for them.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. And I played linebacker way back in the day, in the high school days, and that was pretty good. So it's one group that I watch very closely, and it's just been bad, like fundamentals. Like they just don't hit holes the way they should. They don't keep on their assignments. They get caught in the wash too much. They put their nose where it's not supposed to be. It's just been bad. They've been poorly coached. They've been out of position, not knowing what they're doing. And then they've also been physically limited a lot of times. We just haven't had the guys like Ryan Shazier that can run the sideline. I mean, Raekwon was probably the closest one we've had since then. And he wasn't All-American caliber. He was all Big Ten caliber, but
he was the last linebacker tackles. And before that, it happened like every single year. And it has.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of that's the way the game's changed, but.
Yeah, true. But part of me.
Behind those. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm worried about him a little bit, but then also you got Sawyer playing that jack, that hybrid linebacker. Hickman can come up a little bit,
Oh, he's basically a linebacker.
So, yeah.
Team of tackles last year.
So we got guys that can fill the void if there is some lacking talent there, but everybody's saying, Steele is the man, and Eichenberg looks great too, and then Traynham is looking like a monster. They're all saying he's like the strongest and the fastest linebacker on
yeah. I've heard, so there's a Hoban fan. He went to Archbishop Akron Hoban, and there's a Hoban fan on my message board that has always been pumping him up as like he will be an excellent linebacker in college. Obviously, he didn't choose to go that route right off the bat, and that's what we recruited him as. And he obviously didn't go that route, and now that he's here, I'm super excited to see what he's got. Obviously, it's going to take some time to learn the position and learn the defense.
Yeah.
And they also have a 5-star in Hicks coming in, Kettering Alter, and he's a freak from everything we've read. I mean, an actual like real physical freak too, similar to Traynham. I mean, you have Taraja Mitchell as well. So you got some experience, you got a lot of talent. I feel like, and there's only 2 of them playing at a time, I feel like they'll be at least adequate with what's in front of them and what's behind them.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I haven't heard much about him, but Gabe Powers hasn't been getting much love. He's like a top 10 linebacker in the class.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, like I said, there's only 2 spots. When you're 4th string or something, it's just hard.
The depth at linebacker, I'm pretty sure, is one of the deepest position groups too. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, since we're only playing 2, I'm not worried that we can get 2 guys out there. But it's like every position here on defense, I can name 4 or 5 guys who I have confidence can at least be okay, if not good. And I think Steele Chambers is going to be really good. I think he'll be all Big Ten this year.
And
I like him a lot.
I keep reminding myself is we don't have to be a top 5 defense with our offense. We just have to be top 25, and that we might not even need that. But
top 20, I think. It's funny because I thought we were the team that could beat Georgia. Now, obviously, after I saw what they did to Michigan, that wasn't the case. But
our offense.
But I thought our offense could actually score against them because Bama's did, and it's definitely not impossible, but it would have been, obviously I think we got physical on the defensive side. But yeah, if we could just have a defense that can, and I think they will be top just with that front four.
In so many ways, not only, keeping the team off the scoreboard, but just that momentum, getting the ball back to the offense. Like those shootouts had to be just mentally draining on the offense and physically.
Oh yeah. All right, let's move to the secondary now. Obviously, brand new coaches, brand new scheme, lots of talent, lots of guys that looked good last year. We had some injuries. It's funny because we're playing 3 safeties now for sure all time, and I'm actually thinking we're going to be way better there, partly because of who's coming back. Josh Proctor coming back from injury. Ronnie Hickman led the team in tackles last year, had almost 100. He'll be a huge boost for us, and probably will be. He could be a first-round pick that sneaks in there. He's a be draft eligible after this year. If we're going to have a first-round pick on defense coming out this coming year, I think it'll be him. McAllister transferred from Oklahoma State, so knows the defense well and could easily get in there at safety. We also have Court Williams as captain. Martinez is everybody's raving about him as a nickel corner / safety guy because they got a lot of them. I thought Key Stokes was the best player in the spring game. He looked awesome, breaking up passes, making plays left and right. That's not including Sonny Styles, who's a 5-star recruit who reclassified, so I wouldn't expect him to make an impact this year. But I mean, he's an animal, top 10 overall player in his class. That's the safeties who we're going to have 3 of those guys. I bring up Lathan Ransom there, and he's got lots of playing time in 2 years and was a highly recruited guy. I think he maybe, I don't know. I've heard good things though. Like all these guys, I've heard good things about.
And those were all just safeties, right? Not DBs.
Just safeties. Then DBs, I have a lot of confidence in our top 2. Obviously, Burke was awesome last year as a true freshman. Denzel Ward-esque.
Yeah. I mean, he's a freshman. That doesn't happen very often. A defensive back being one of your best defensive players as a freshman.
Yeah.
And he was.
He probably was our best defensive player last year, which is sad. But yeah, Hickman, yeah. And then Cameron Brown at the opposite side. I'm confident. I mean, he's been solid his whole time. I thought he was better than Seven Banks the year before. Seven Banks transferring out. He had all that first round hype the previous year, which I didn't understand. I'm all about with Paris Johnson on the other side. I'm like, I don't know why he's getting first round hype yet. I'd like to see something great, but I don't see it yet. But Jordan Hancock, he's been hurt his hamstring here in the preseason, and maybe won't have a good start to the season. May not be ready for Notre Dame. So J.K. Johnson has been the third corner right now that people are talking up, and Martinez has also been playing corner with them too. I have confidence. I mean, maybe depth is an issue there, but I have so much confidence in the top 2, and we're going to be playing safeties pretty much at that third spot all the time anyway.
Yeah, Knowles keeps saying that's the most important position in his scheme. So, but he's also said, which I do like, that he's not going to rotate a lot. He's going to play the best guys, and some will get a little bit of playing time, but those top guys are going to play. Yeah.
Not watching Bryson Shaw get abused is going to be nice this year.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry Buckeye, whatever, but it's that was not good last year.
No.
Yeah, I'm so confident in these guys. Josh Proctor coming back. The dude can hit, and he can make plays on the ball. He has issues with his tackling angles sometimes, but other than that, I thought losing him early in the season to the broken leg was a huge blow to this team, and having him back is going to be big.
I think most fans, at least just common average fans that don't watch a ton like me and you do, don't realize how good Proctor is.
Yeah.
Like non-Ohio State fans, they have no idea. And this guy, This guy's got All-American written all over him. So
his freshman year, I thought we had the next Malik Hooker. I saw a couple of plays he made as a center field type safety, just sideline to sideline, making plays on the ball. I'm like, whoa, yep, here we go again. And then obviously there's been issues with him from both health and from, obviously, like I said, his tackling angles leave much to be desired at times. But if he gets that down and just plays fast, plays hard, he's got everything else, man. Dude's a hitter, and he's got ball skills, so he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, the defense, if that all comes together and is top, like you said, top 20 unit, this team's going undefeated in the regular season for sure. And Bama's the only thing that can stop him.
It's all about Knowles. I mean, I think he's the guy, and that's the one thing that's got me a little hesitant to put so much confidence in it, because I feel like instilling a new defense doesn't just happen overnight. It usually takes a couple years, but we got all this talent. So if anybody can do it, we can.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so let's go to special teams. No, everybody's back. Our two specialists, Noah Ruggles, the kicker, and Mccord, our punter, both back. Noah Ruggles, All-American last year. Was solid as could be and hit a couple 50-yarders. I'm not worried about him. Parker Lewis transferred in from USC, not on the team yet, having eligibility issues like Paleo. Oh, we didn't even bring up Paleo Gilote on the defensive side of the ball. And he was a 5-star talent and looked decent at times last year, but was lost. But yeah, no Ruggles kicking game, not too worried. Mirko punting, and he averaged 42 yards a kick last year. That's okay. But we're not going to punt much, I don't think.
No.
It's
Hope we don't kick a lot of field goals either. But.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think we will unless this O-line is worse than I think it is.
And Ruggles misses one field goal and doesn't win the best kicker award to a damn Michigan player. But whatever.
Yeah. They did the degree of difficulty. A lot of Ruggles kicks were pretty easy.
Yeah.
But he did hit when he had to. He hit the longer ones. It was no big deal.
I think he missed in the Michigan State game when we were dominating them. It was like one of the very last games of the year when he missed a kick.
Yeah. Yeah. They jinxed him.
Yeah.
If that said, I think we should go ahead and make a part 2 for this this podcast. We'll split it in 2.
Okay.
That would. You there? Hello?
It was frozen.
That was me.
For a few seconds.
That was on me.
Okay.
That was my end. But yeah, so overall impression of the team. What do you have? Is this team going to win the national championship? Obviously, I think both of us think we're going to win the Big Ten. Is this national championship team?
So I already said in the beginning, my gut, just because I've seen it before, is that we're going to get all the way there and they're going to break my heart on the last game to Bama. But that's just right now. We'll see. It seems like a 2019 type of team to me, where we got top offense, top 5 defense, but just the football gods don't want us to win.
They're ready to dance the Buckeye dance. They're ready to do everything Ohio State style. All right, so that'll be the end of part 1. That's our preview of the team. Nice breakdown.
See you in part 2.
Hey guys! Well, see you later.
A rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the